Okay, hi. I'm Anthony Merriweather. I'm the CEO of ETL Source. We are a data analytics company, and we're partnered with CSSI for the purpose of bringing data analytics to the GP client base. I imagine a lot of you have heard the buzzword Power BI. Uh, Probably everyone in the world has already, but what is Power BI and how can it benefit me as a company? So Power BI is Microsoft's flagship data analytics reporting platform, currently ranked and has been ranked #1 in the data analytics platform for the past 4 years straight, according to the Gartner Group. So that information is also available online. Very powerful product, very powerful platform, and more importantly, it's very affordable. So what I'm going to do today is give you a high-level overview of what the report pack is. This is not a content pack, it's a report pack. In other words, it's pre-built turnkey that works with all versions of Dynamics GP, whether it's on-premise or in the cloud, hosted third party. I'm hoping that everyone can hear me before I get into this in 15 minutes later and find out no one can hear me. So if there's anyone out there that can't hear me, you can send a chat and let me know. But I'm going to assume that everyone can hear me. So the report.
I hear you coming through fine, Anthony.
Oh, right, great. I hope the other 32 people hear me also. So the report pack for Dynamics GP consists of 5 modules. There's a financials module. There is an inventory module if you're using inventory GP. There's project accounting if you're using GP's project accounting, and purchasing if you're using GP's purchasing, and sales analysis if you're using the SOP module. So what I'm going to show you today are the sales and financials, because this product contains over 100 pre-built reports, and it would take quite a long time to get through all of those with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the reports in both of these modules that give you an idea of really the power of this particular product. Let's look at the financials first. And by the way, the environment you see here is the actual environment that you will see if you have this product. This is Microsoft's Azure hosting environment. So all of your reports are hosted here, not your data, just a snapshot of your data at the time of the last report refresh. But otherwise, your data always resides in your GP database. And the report pack looks directly at that data. So whatever data you have in that GP system is what's going to be exposed here, for good or for bad. And also give you an opportunity to see some inconsistencies and errors or bad data, if you will. So we're looking at a sample data here. I can see here that there's a blank country in here, and there's a country with a question mark. So that lets you know you need to do some cleanup, because the product will also report problems with your data. So having said that, this particular module here has some 27 reports in it, as we see on the left here. And the sales module also has multiple reports in them. In fact, all of the modules do contain multiple reports. So, you know, we have our agings here, and all the reports are interactive, meaning that if I click on a particular, in this case, a particular customer, notice that all of the other key performance indicators will change to reflect that particular customer. I can see that balance there, and this is current. Looking at the legend over here, so the current is 12,877, as we see right here. If I want, even from here, I can right click and I can drill through to the detail of that 12,887. There it is, and I can see what it's comprised of, who the customer is, the document date, all of the detail surrounding this particular sale. And I can hit my back button and go and look at any other one that I want to see. I can select all the countries here and all vertical markets, or I can select them individually. And I can see what's going on in Canada here. I can also drill down to see what type of transactions make up those receivables. And I can see that the bulk of the receivables are made up of sales and invoices. There are some payments in there, but I can see all that at a glance, and I can roll it back up, and away we go. These filters that you're going to see on these reports are changeable because a lot of companies don't have vertical markets. They may have just customers only. They may not be international, so they wouldn't be interested in an international filter here. But since everyone is different in terms of how they categorize their data, we change these filters for all clients at no charge because we realize that some customers are going to have salespeople, some are not going to have salespeople. There may be some nonprofits here that have no receivables, or they may have receivables based on a donor categorization. Those are simple changes for us, and we make those for all clients. So, okay, let's move forward. The AP works the same way as the AR, and we can drill down once and see what those 8 payables are consist of. They are mostly invoices. There's a few credit memos in here. If there were debit memos, we'd see those also. But I guess the bottom line is I can control and see everything that's going on in my AR from right here at whatever level I'm interested in looking at. Let's start looking at some of the financials. Let's do this. Balance sheet. Okay. Here are the financials. We can, again, these are our filters here, so we can drill down to whatever level we're interested in. In this case, I'm going to look at all periods for 2020 balance sheet accounts. I'm going to look at open documents. These are documents that have been posted to the GL. Work categorized status means it hasn't been posted to the GL yet. I think we all know that. So now within this, I can also select a particular category that I'm interested in. In this case, let's look at the receivables. And I can see all of my receivables, and I can even drill down further to the individual account within those receivables. And once I get here, I can see that there's a category, there's a series, financial, sales, and the document status open. If we would have selected work here also, well, there's no work for receivables. It automatically knows that. So I can drill in and look at any one of these that I want to. Let's go ahead and look at this 40,000 in August. And there's that 40,000 in transactions for August. All of these columns are sortable just by clicking on the little black box. Or you can sort on multiple columns by simply holding the Control and Shift key down. So there's your entire receivables. Let's look at the entire balance sheet. So select them all, select all. So here are all my balance sheet transactions. We can also order these account categories based on how they're set up in your GP, where you have an account number 1 through 33, 1 generally representing cash. We can sort this in that order for you if you prefer to see it in that order. We can switch to the profit and loss or the income statement accounts just as easy. Now these are all income statement accounts. Now what we're going to notice here, while we're here, I'm going to point something out here. So now I'm in cash. And if you notice cash, it seems to think that cash is both a balance sheet and a PL account. Whereby if I switch to, let's say cost of goods sold. It knows the cost of goods sold is a P&L account because you've designated that as such in GP. So what I can see here, since it seems to think the cash is designated as both P&L and balance sheet, this tells me that this particular customer has a cash account categorized as both a balance sheet and a P&L account. There's a duplicate record in their data. And they may not have known that, but the report pack knows it. So I can see that if I just look at the balance sheet, I've got these balances, transaction balances. And if I switch to the P&L version, I see there's these balances. So in other words, they have this posting type incorrect for the cash account. So now they can go ahead and clean that up. Put cash in its proper place. So that's some of the things that the report back will also show you where your data is dirty. Okay, so let's move along quickly. And we have here, you have basically your balance sheet. We have all of the net GL account changes for whatever category we've selected up here. Here's our net changes, beginning balances, and we see our transactions for January, which gets moved into the balance forward up above. February gets moved into the balance forward up above. I can take my March transactions and then balance forward. So these are all of your GL account balances based on all of the net transactions. It's a pretty nice feature. I think it basically is your balance sheet. Same with receivables. You can see all of your net transactions that roll into your balance forward, so you always know what your current GL account balance is just by clicking there. And these transactions here, which I'll show you, this AR, let's just say, for instance, July, we're looking at -221 for July. We can go back and confirm that right there. What was that, July? What account? What account was I on here? Receivables for July 22. Okay, let's take a look at that. So many reports here. There it is. And then just take receivables. See, it knows receivables is a balance sheet account. And there it is. So in July, see, it is -221. So it lets me know all of the numbers match, which is good. So there's your balance sheet right there for all intents and purposes. We go into more of the balance sheet information here, the more of the detail, and the net debits minus credits along the bottom here. And we can look at any year that we want just by selecting it. I can easily switch to the P&L accounts. Same, see, and all the slicers change, and there's that cash, see, stuck in both balance sheet and P&L. So it's never going to let you get away with anything. Up here, I can go ahead and drill through and look at the detail surrounding that 1400. And there's the detail, journal numbers, everything's at my disposal. There's additional balance sheet trend analysis here. Let's take all periods. Let's look at balance sheets. And these are all of the balance sheet accounts. So if I select multiple years here, I can see the trend analysis over the years for each of these GL accounts, control accounts. It's payable, receivables. I can see what each of them is doing. If I click on one of these data points, the grid above will change to reflect exactly what I've clicked on. 48. Click it again, brings me back. So as you can see what we're doing here, we're just giving you another level of analysis without running any reports. And there's more. We can forecast also. Let's take a look at sales here. It knows that's just not a sale. Okay, now once we drop that out, now we can get to our sales. Looking at multiple years. So this is the yearly forecast down below if you want to select multiple years. And we also give you training on these reports also, so that you can get the maximum out of them. We wouldn't just give you the report and say, hey, go for what you know. It's like giving someone a bicycle and that doesn't know how to ride it. So, I mean, we give the training in that respect. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to select 1 year so we can look at the monthly forecast up here. I'm going to select all periods, and I'm going to remove December just to see how close my forecast is. This is the sales forecast. So we have January all the way through to November. This is your actual data. And it's saying based on this actual data, it's going to predict that in December your sales are going to be $258,000, We have sales in December. Let's see what the forecast really, what the true number is. And your true number came out to 229,000 instead of the 258,000. So we're $20,000 lower than what was forecast. And check it again. 258. December was actually lower. So we did not meet the forecast. Why? You have to answer that yourself. Okay. Now if we select multiple years here, it's going to give us our forecast for the coming year. We have data from 2020, 21, 22, 23. So based on the actual data, this is the forecasting trend that we see. We actually have data in here up until 2023. So in 2024, we would be looking at a $2.4 million. So if I don't like that forecast, then I have to do something about it, because the way that the numbers are being shown to us here, which are actual numbers, that's the forecast. I can either change that to get to it or not, and I'll be in there in that ballpark. We have forecasting in all of our modules, so you'll see this type of forecasting in your budgets, in your sales analysis, and in your financials. So let's jump to the control account change real quick. Here we can see the movement by month, total account change, and the net account change, a debit minus credit for any of our GL accounts. I can see the movement. I can filter it. That's what's in work right now for accounts receivable. It means this hasn't been posted. So I think you get the message here. So we can look at any of your accounts that you have set up. Will show up here. And we're on sales. If you click the very next form, it's going to give you the detail underlying all of these account category changes. And there they are. It's smart enough to know we were looking at sales. So if I change this to cash, it's going to remember all of these settings in the detail. Cash. There it is. Took a minute to refresh. So there's the cash. Again, we haven't run one report yet. Can you imagine how many reports we're going to need to run to slice and dice this data like this? It's just a lot. Now here are your budgets. If you have budgeting in place and budget IDs set up, it's going to pick up all of your budget IDs and let you decide which budget items you want to look at. So let's just look at right here, balance sheet items. Notice when I change from balance sheet to P&L, everything changes because it knows exactly which accounts are P&L and which months had actual transactions against those particular account categories. Let's look at my favorite, cash. So I can see the budgets, actuals versus budget for cash, the percentages over here, and the variance. Negative means I'm under budget, which is always good. And you can see the actuals below here. You can even look at it just an individual sub account within the account cash category, if there's anything in there. And here we can see the commissions. Pretty good. And we can see the budget detail. So it's going to remember this commission here, which it did. And we can see the details surrounding those commissions. We can see the trending for commissions. And again, we have forecasting for the actuals also. That works the same as the forecasting we saw earlier on the balance sheet accounts. Okay. We also have your receipts and deposits, bank receipts, deposits. Again, you can select any level that you're interested in, even to the individual bank deposit number. And we see quite a bit of detail here. And we have your registers, check register. Again, look at whichever periods you want, whichever checking account you want. Just like that. Who we paid it to, the description, whether it's forwarded, reconciled. See, with Wells Fargo, we have actually cleared 3.7 million of the checks received. And you have your cash in and out, give you a checkbook balance. So I can see when I select Wells Fargo, it knows this is the account name. It can show this to me by series. If you have your series set up in your GP. Let's just look at sales. And I'm only interested in increases. So I can see now that these are only increases out here. Even the GL distribution is here. And now we're looking at only decreases. And the account change. Click on January and I see January's detail. Click on July, I see all July's detail. I can look at last year's if I want to just compare. I can go back all the way back to 2013 if I want. Okay. And this is by posting date. We also have the cash in, cash out by transaction date, whichever you prefer. And this report here, the GL imbalance. This is a great report here also. What we see here are the filters. And we see these key performance indicators here. One for the general ledger, one for the account transaction detail, and one for the account transaction summary. The purpose of this report is when I do a posting of my transactions to my GL and something goes wrong, something that went wrong, either a glitch or the post failed. So now I've got a partially updated GL, and I've got a bunch of transactions sitting out here that have been marked posted, which is designated as open when it's posted, but they actually didn't post to the GL, so it's out of balance. And I'll know because these red boxes will tell me. Right now, everything is in balance. So that's a great thing. Everything's in balance. But if something weren't in balance, say for instance, this journal number here, only happens to affect 2 GL accounts. But I would see it here, but it would not be here because it didn't post. So I can correct that very easily because I see the account distribution and I see what the debits and credits are that I need to apply in my adjusting entry. But this report was originally designed for Georgia Pacific, and they process tens of thousands of transactions a day. So when something goes wrong with a posting, it's an enormous undertaking to try to reconcile that GL. So with this product here, they can do that very easily. And it's going to give you the journal number right here and all the information that's not posted to the GL, and you'll be able to click on that particular journal number in this list here and see the entire distribution. And again, there's some other reports in here, fixed assets, company taxes, if you're using those. But for the sake of brevity, I'm going to move on to the sales analysis module here real quick. There we go. Again, with the AR, we have put both the accounts, with the financials, we have placed both the AR and the AP in that module also, but we also put the AR in this sales module also because we feel it should be here. Some clients only purchase the AR, the sales analysis module, and some clients purchase both, or some clients purchase all 4 modules, purchasing and inventory. But so we felt the AR should be in the sales analysis too. So we already know how the AR works. It's all interactive. I can drill through again to see all of the detail. See all the current. And another thing, while we're here, these aging buckets over here, we realized that all clients have different aging periods. I found very few that are all the same. So what we do is if your agings are different than these, we automatically, at no charge, change those agings buckets for you. And it only takes a couple minutes. And again, we can change these filters over here if you categorize your data differently. You may just want to see the customer only here in this list. We can do that. Again, no charge. Here's the main report in the sales module. This is kind of where everything takes off from. Your revenue and gross margins. This visual out here in particular, everybody has customers and everyone has sales revenue by month. But what they may not be having is revenue by country. This here happens to be international here. But if you have salespeople, for instance, and you'd like to see salespeople here instead of country, that's a change. We also make those changes for all clients at no charge to recategorize this data. You may not have salespeople. You may have donors. You may want to see the revenue by donor here, or revenue by department or division. We do that for you at no charge. Okay, so for instance, now let's take a look at some of the artificial intelligence while we're here. Again, we filtered this to invoices only, all markets, all salespeople, although all 2020, all months, all product lines if you're using them, the item classes if you're using them, and we can take it all the way down to the item description level. So what we're going to look at here is well, August isn't over, so I can't really analyze the decrease from July to August, but let's do it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to sit on July here, August, and compare August sales with July sales. See, it already knows it's a decrease. It's going to explain that decrease to me. It's a 67% decrease so far. And here we see July's revenue and we see August revenue. And we see the waterfall chart indicating why the decrease has come about. If I just hover my mouse over it, I can see that in July of this year, I sold 45% more product to Plus Package. Excuse me, of the Plus Package item. It's telling me here this is going to be by item description. So I sold less of this product, 44% less, 45% less in August. 100% less of this product. I didn't sell this product at all in August. Same with this product. Didn't sell it at all in August. Nor this product here. In July, I sold 448,000 of it. August, I didn't sell any of it. And it'll give you some additional visualizations here showing you the ranking of that particular item. You know, where was it ranked at, whether the ranking changed. Just a lot of information. And it also is going to let me know other metrics. This is the key year to date. Here's your vertical market if you have vertical markets set up. This is my customer number. Here's your customer name. We can see July customer sales were 1.1 million. August, 363,000. And it's going to tell us, you know, what has happened in between here. I can see the negative amounts here. So we're not selling to these customers, is what it's showing me. And it's telling me right here. U.S. Air Force didn't buy anything from us yet. Nor did Health Partners or Health Fitness. It's going to give us the analytics by the customer name out of the customer master if we want. It's going to give us a decrease. Again, customer type. Explain the decrease by state if you have revenue by state from July to August. You can see that we sold 91% less in Texas than the prior month. These are all smaller states grouped together that they found to be significant. So overall negative 46% decrease in sales. In Florida, last month we sold 53,000. This month we only sold 20. That's 60% less. So these are the types of AI and insights it'll give you by item class code. That will help you make a more quicker and more informed decisions, because you won't get that anywhere else. Excel doesn't have artificial intelligence, and it'll run that artificial intelligence across any graphic that has a time dimension to it. So let's move along right here. So I could do it this way. I could click on this customer, and I can see that this customer is responsible for revenue only in April. And that was sold in the United States. I can come at it this way and say, okay, what comprises this revenue here? And I can see these customers are responsible for that revenue, and again, that country. I can come at it from another direction, from over here by country. And I can see that the United States is responsible for these revenues to these customers, from these customers, and the applicable gross margins. So I have many different ways I can come at the sales here. I can drill through on any of these Let's take a look at that 1.14 million. And I have all the detail right here. There it is. And all the cost information, if you have cost information in your system. The item descriptions, the document numbers, invoice numbers, and all the cost information. And the salesperson, if you have salespeople set up. Pretty cool. And again, we have that forecasting. Here it is. Let's just see how far. I'm looking at invoices for all item classes, all item numbers, all territories, all customers. I'm going to back. We have some skewing going on here. This is pretty significant. This can throw off your forecast, any forecast, because it's really not that linear. So I'm going to back this out where, let's just see what it does. And then remove August. So we have July there. It's telling me August is going to look like 1 million. I would doubt if that's going to be right because of the skew. It actually turned out to be 363,000. So we didn't meet the forecast. I put multiple years in here. We can look at the below. This is the yearly here. And it looks like 2022, I'm going to be at about 6 million. 2020. Well, let me back 2020 out of here because we do have some numbers for 2020, but August is still open. So, but it's predicting about 9 million in 2020. Put 2020 in there, and I'm at 6 million. So I'm not too concerned about that because I'm still in 2020 and it hasn't ended yet. But it looks like it's going to be a pretty good year, 2020. All right. Then we also have the item analysis in here where we can filter this all the way down to the individual item number and then see all the detail for it by customer. We can also contrast multiple years here if you want to compare. Actually, 2019, 2020 for that customer. Also, just regressing for a minute. If we're in the sales analysis here, I can select multiple years here. If I just want to see how this year's sales compare to last year's sales by customer, and I can see that right here. I can also see how the revenue between last year and this year differs, and the revenue by country or revenue by salesperson, and you can go further yet if you want to go back another year and add that in. We can do that. The grids start to get the visuals start to get a little tight here, so we have the option to blow these up by clicking on the focus mode on all of the visuals, which will bring us to a much bigger report. And we can see things a little better here. I have 3 years here. You're probably not going to want to do that, but you're probably going to want to see 2 years at least. I'm going to set that focus mode. And there we go. I can click over here, and we can also show the data associated with it. I could also do this. We also have the capability to send all of this data to Excel if I want. Just by clicking here and say export the data. Summary, send it to Excel. So it's going to create this Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to drop it on the desktop. I hope I can find it. Because my desktop is really full. There it is right there. Now created that Excel spreadsheet for me on the fly, so I can send it to whoever I want to send it to, and there is all my data. Just that easy. With this product, we can also click up here and export this entire module to PowerPoint. For your board of directors, you may have a meeting you're going into with management. You might want to compare, some last year's figures with this year. But once you have all of these particular visuals set the way you want them, you can go ahead and export this to PowerPoint and create your beautiful PowerPoint presentation. Say I want to create my own personal dashboard because, there's a lot of data here. And so depending on who you are, whether or not you're the CFO or the CIO or the director or manager of finance and accounting, there's going to be things that you're going to be interested in that person may not be interested in. So I might just be interested in wanting to create my own personal dashboard. Now these are called dashboard reports. From dashboard reports, you create your own personal dashboards. So I'm going to create one for you here real quickly to show you how easy it is. I'm interested in AR, everything AR. So I'm going to, on these visuals, you'll see this little pin on all of them. That will give you the ability to pin this and create your own dashboard. So I'm going to take the total AR, and I'm going to create a new one here. I already have one called AR, so I'm going to create a new one. This is my AR. So I just created a dashboard. I also want to add this other one here to it. Take that, put it on my AR. Let's take this. I also want to take this too. And I want to put it on pin it to my AR dashboard. And while I'm at it, I might as well take this guy too. So it's created a dashboard for me that I can see on my phone, my smart tablet, anywhere I go. On my phone, it will look like this. This is what the phone view will look like. And if I click on one of these visuals while I'm using my free BI app on my phone, it will take me to the underlying report. Similar to this. I'm going to add one more thing to it. I'm going to add this also to my AR. So now I have a dashboard in here that I can see on my phone. And I can also see it here. I'm going to open up this navigation here. And I have a dashboard I've created. It's right there. I bring it up, and here it is. I can move it around any way I want, make some of them bigger. I can edit them, change some of the details. I can add a refresh date and time to all of them. But the important thing is, once you have created your own little personal dashboard, when you click on any of the objects on it, it will take you to the report. There it is. So it takes me right to the underlying report. If I were to add something from another dashboard on it, let's say we add something from here on it, completely different report. I'm going to add it to my AR dashboard. Now I'm going to go look at that. There it is. And it's also added that to it. So I can add from any report I want that I'm interested in seeing at a glance. And click it, it takes me to the underlying report from which it came. So that pretty much sums up what the report pack does for your organization in terms of giving you a way to see all of your data, multiple years of data, and contrast multiple years of data in one place without running any reports, and sorting capabilities that you can just sort any way you want on all of these visuals. So you have all of that power and capability. I can also, as the owner of this report, I can share this report to people in my organization and outside of my organization by simply entering their email address. And it will pop up, and I can decide whether or not I want them to be able to share this, and I'll send them an email that this report is now available. This entire module is available to that individual. And it's done. So if I log in now as guest, I will see that report. And you have refreshes for these reports. You notice the refresh dates on here. Microsoft allows you 8 refreshes per day. That means all of these reports will refresh 8 times a day in the background, and you'll just notice new report refresh dates. So you know your data is refreshing. If a refresh should fail because that server is down, and by the way, these report data gateways should be hosted on a server, something that's always on, because naturally it needs to always be on for it to refresh. So that's a high overview of what the product will do. I'm going to turn it back over to Joe. Is Joe here? Let's see. I'm going to turn it back.
I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to you now for any questions that the clients may have. I know that's a lot.
Yep.
They've seen a lot here, and it's kind of like just amazing kind of thing to just see the data like this. I'm still amazed when I look at it like this. But I'm going to turn it back over to you and open it up for questions. And if somebody wants to see more, then they'll let you know, and we can go deeper for them on a one-on-one basis. But there it is. And I want to thank everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. It's a tremendous product. For those who don't know me, I'm the president of CSSI. My name is Joe Tosel. So we've been supporting GP for years and years. We take a lot of questions and help a lot of customers on reporting and dashboard and analytics in general. You have some of the tools within GP, such as Management Reporter. I know a lot of companies will use those and make good use of them. We actually have some other webinars on how we can help with those and how you can get more out of them. But BI is an extremely powerful tool that lets you go cross-platform. I mean, the nice thing about BI is you can use BI to access all of your information. So you can have a tool like this that will get at your GP data, but if you have data in other information silos, you can use BI to report against those as well and have it all in one location. So the the product that Anthony is showing here is tremendous, because when we've showed BI to people, I think the challenge is, well, I'm kind of starting with nothing right now, and it seems daunting to figure out I'm gonna build one report at a time. I have to learn how to do this. It's going to take forever to do. Whereas with a product like this, you're set up literally within hours. You go from 0 to 60 files an hour. So if you have questions, there is a chat window, there's a questions window, which you'd be welcome to put those into. Should you be shy and don't want to address it right now, definitely feel free to reach out to us at CSSI. We could certainly set up one-on-one demos and answer further questions. But Anthony, one question I have, so how difficult is it to install this?
It's a great question, Joe. We can install this within an hour. Within an hour, you're up and running, as opposed to days and weeks with other products that aren't pre-built. This is, by the way, the only pre-built data analytics solution for GP in the entire world. That's like this 27 reports.
Does that include and do you include some training for the users so they're comfortable in what's in there and how to get around?
Yeah, absolutely. We perform the entire installation and let you or someone in your organization there see how the installation is done. And we train you on how to use the reports, on how to get every maximum benefit from them. And you also get the code, the source code, the query code behind the entire product. So we're not holding anything back from you. We
Hmm.
don't charge subscriptions. It's a one-time fee for the product, and it's yours for the rest of your life, and for as many versions of GP that you go through. Uh,
Is the user able to make changes to it? Like, can they start tweaking these reports if they wanted to,
Absolutely,
and customize them?
absolutely.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
are
so
they?
you're kind of giving them the head start, and then they can manipulate it should they choose to, or they work with a partner like CSSI, or perhaps go back to you if they wanted to add or enhance it, right?
Absolutely. We have, for instance, one client. He bought the financials, the sales analysis, excuse me, and he's real territory um, intense, and he wanted 25 additional territory recap type of reports. It almost drove me crazy because because they were really different, but all territorially related. So that's one example of how this starting module here will give you the basis for data analytics going forward. Because
Mhm.
you need a starting point, and this core product here come about as a result of sampling over 400 CFOs, CIOs, and managers of accounting and finance to see what type of reports would they most be interested in it. And this was the culmination of that research. This
Mhm.
product took 2 years to build. 2 years, I know, because it almost killed me.
Yeah, well, it's an amazing amount of a very rich amount of material in here.
Yeah.
What are the hardware and or software requirements for a company to be able to integrate this?
The only requirement is that you have GP, that you use Dynamics GP. There's no particular operating system needs, or whether you're 32-bit or 64-bit operating system, doesn't matter. It will work
Mhm.
with both. So there are no other requirements or no system requirements in terms of that. Um,
Mhm.
if you upgrade from one version of GP to the next, there's nothing that needs to be done other than to change the database name if you change your GP database name. It's
Mhm.
about 5-second fix. So
And
that
can you accommodate those who are using GP on premise or someone who is GP in the cloud?
sure, absolutely. It's a really it's just as easy.
Mhm.
In fact, it's
Okay.
easier when it's a hosted environment because we don't have to we don't have to use the server name, server / instance. We just use the instance name in a third party hosted environment. But we also provide support. As I said, if the particular client doesn't use these type of categories here, they may only want to see customers here. We make those changes for free. If your aging periods are different, we change those for you at no charge. We want to make the changes to the product so that it fits exactly what you're doing. Because what we try to do here was to make it generic enough in terms of giving all the same information, but with the ability to make the minor changes necessary for it to perfectly suit that particular client.
Sure, sure. And I mean, the handful of reports that will be most important are going to differ company by company according to the business
Mm-hmm.
and what their particular needs are. Um, so we do have a question about cost.
Uh-huh.
So can you talk about how you sell this with the different report packs and that sort of thing? So
Sure.
we can, and obviously, CSSI would be happy to do a quote for anyone who wants to get more specific after the call.
Okay, so do you want me to go over costing information, Joe?
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, we could talk about your published rates
Uh-huh.
on your website for each pack.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Okay, that's a good point. Well, most of these modules are 3,500 each. That's with all of the reports that come with them. They're 3,500 each. If they purchase more than two report packs, most people purchase the financials and sales because everybody's got to track that general ledger and the revenues. So those were pretty much standard. Whether or not they purchase the purchasing module or the inventory. It depends on what type of business they're in. But for the most part, most people want the financials and sales. Those modules are only $3,500 each, and that's approximately 50 different reports in there.
That's a couple thousand hours of development time.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And just to be clear, the what we're looking at here on the screen, this is the financials package, right?
Yes. And
So all of these things are within the financials package. It's not just a page or two.
That's right.
It's this whole suite of pages.
Yes. Then to put that 3,500 in some perspective, this is one of the newer reports in this module. This was built for, as I mentioned earlier, Georgia Pacific, one of our clients, and they have 48 companies within Georgia Pacific. So they wanted this report here. So they contacted us once they had bought in the core product and said, look, we're having this problem here. We need this report built. And this report here crosses several GP modules, by the way. It's really code intensive. So we costed the project, and it came out to about $3,500 in time to build this report for them and to test it and to design it. So we made a deal with them that, look, we'll cut that report time, that $3,500, in half with the condition that we'll integrate it into the core product. So just to give you some price perspective, this one report was $3,500 to create, but we were able to cut it in half. So yeah, that one report it costed as much as we charge for this entire module now. So it's just some price. And if you go and have a third party consulting firm build these type of reports for you, you're going to build ad hoc reports here and there and there, and you're going to pay a fortune, $175 an hour or whatever they charged. It's just cost effective to get the report pack, and now you have the basis to go forward in any direction you want with your data analytics.
And making smaller modifications from there is going to be a lot easier than starting from scratch with every report.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially tapping into your expertise in accessing the GP database to get at the information. Let's see, are there other any other questions from anyone? So this presentation, we are recording this and we will post it to the CSSI website within the next few days. If you wanted to view it again, or if you wanted to show it to any of your colleagues, and then if you are interested in the package and you want to discuss it further, just reach out to us at CSSI. We'd be happy to speak to you further. And if we wanted to set up a specific demo, or if you wanted to see one of the other report packages, we can certainly facilitate that. Be happy to help you.
Okay.
Yeah. So Henry, Anthony, thank you very much for your time this morning. This is I'm always been passionate about reporting and dashboards and analytics, and this is a really exciting package here.
Yes. Well, thank you too, Joe. Would you drive your car without a dashboard? Thank you, everyone, for attending. Be safe out there, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Anthony.
All right. Bye-bye.